I stood in the corner of my aunt's living room, holding a glass of lemonade, watching my ex-wife laugh at something her new husband just said. Then I heard my name. Derek was telling everyone at the table how I was still unemployed, still chasing impossible dreams, still the same loser Megan had wisely left behind. She nodded along, smiling, saying she got out just in time. They had no idea who they were mocking. And honestly, that made what came next even sweeter. Before I tell you what happened next, let me know where you are watching from today. Hit that like button and subscribe if you believe that silence can be the most powerful response. Now let me take you back to where it all began. My name is Asa, and I grew up in a small town in Ohio, where everyone knew everyone and nobody expected much from anybody. My father spent 30 years fixing cars at a local auto shop. His hands were always covered in grease, and his back ached from bending over engines all day. My mother worked as a nurse at the county hospital, pulling double shifts more often than not. They were good people, honest people, the kind who believed that hard work would eventually pay off even when it did not seem like it. I was a quiet kid. While other boys played football or chased girls, I sat in my room taking apart old computers my dad brought home from the junkyard. By the time I turned 14, I had taught myself how to code. It was not anything fancy at first, just simple programs and basic websites, but it lit something inside me. I saw a world of possibilities in those lines of code. A future where I could build something meaningful. After high school, I went to a state college and studied computer science. I was not the smartest student in the room, but I was the most persistent. I spent nights in the library while others went to parties. When I graduated, I took a job at a small tech company in Columbus. The pay was modest enough to cover rent and groceries with a little left over for savings. But I had bigger dreams. I wanted to build my own company, create software that would help businesses run more efficiently. I knew it would take time. I was willing to wait. Then I met Megan. It was a Tuesday afternoon in October. I had stopped at a coffee shop near my office to grab something warm before heading back to work. She was standing in line ahead of me, talking on her phone, laughing at something the person on the other end said. When she hung up and turned around, she almost bumped into me. She apologized, and I told her it was fine. We started talking. She worked in marketing for a company a few blocks away. She was confident, outgoing, everything I was not. I found myself drawn to her energy, her ability to light up a room just by walking into it. We exchanged numbers that day. Our first date was dinner at a small Italian restaurant downtown. She talked about her dreams of traveling the world, of living a life full of adventure and excitement. I talked about my software ideas, my plans to one day start my own company. She seemed interested, or at least she pretended to be. Looking back, I wonder if she ever really believed in me, or if she was just waiting for something better to come along. We dated for 2 years before I proposed. It was nothing extravagant, just a simple ring and a heartfelt question on a quiet evening at home. She said yes, and for a moment, I felt like the luckiest man alive. Our wedding was small, just family, and a few close friends held at a park near her parents' house. I did not care about the size of the ceremony. All that mattered was that I had found someone who said she would stand by me through everything. For the first 2 years of our marriage, things seemed fine. I continued working at my job while developing my software idea on the side. Megan supported me, or so I thought. She would bring me coffee when I stayed up late coding. She would tell me she believed in me, but slowly things began to change. It started with small comments. We would be at dinner with her friends, and she would mention how one of their husbands had just bought a new car, or taken them on vacation to Europe. Then she would look at me with something in her eyes that I could not quite identify. Disappointment maybe, or regret. "When do you think your thing will actually make money?" she asked one night. We were sitting on the couch, and I was showing her a new feature I had built. She was not even looking at the screen. I told her it takes time to build something real. Rome was not built in a day, and neither was any successful company. She sighed and walked away. The comments became more frequent. She started comparing me to her friends' husbands openly. Brandon just got promoted. They are buying a house in the suburbs. Or Jessica's husband surprised her with a trip to Hawaii for their anniversary. The unspoken message was clear. Why could I not be more like them? I tried to explain that I was building something for our future, that the sacrifice now would pay off later. But she did not want later. She wanted now, and I could not give her that. By our 3rd year of marriage, I had made a decision that would change everything. I quit my job to focus on my company full-time. I had saved enough to survive for about a year, if I was careful. I set up my workspace in our garage, surrounded by old boxes and forgotten holiday decorations. It was not glamorous, but it was mine. Megan did not take the news well. "You quit your job," she said, when I told her. Without even discussing it with me, I had discussed it with her. Multiple times. But she had always brushed it off, probably hoping I would never actually go through with it. Now that I had, she was furious. The months that followed were difficult. I worked 16-hour days, barely seeing the sun. Megan grew more distant with each passing week. She started going out with her friends more often, coming home late sometimes, not until after midnight. When I asked where she had been, she would give vague answers. Dinner with the girls, drinks after work. A movie that ran late. I wanted to believe her. I needed to believe her. Because if I did not have her support, I was not sure I could keep going. But the truth has a way of revealing itself, no matter how hard people try to hide it. It was a Thursday night, around 2 in the morning. I was in the garage, working on a bug in my code that had been driving me crazy for days. I had finally fixed it, and was about to go inside when I heard Megan's phone buzz on the kitchen counter. She had left it there before going to bed, which was unusual. She usually kept it with her at all times. I should have ignored it. I wish I had. But something made me walk over and look at the screen. The message was from someone named Derek. It said, "I cannot stop thinking about last night. When can I see you again?" My heart stopped. I picked up the phone with trembling hands and scrolled through the conversation. There were hundreds of messages going back months. Love notes. Plans to meet. And worst of all, messages making fun of me. Derek called me a loser, a dreamer who would never amount to anything. Megan agreed. She wrote that she had made a mistake marrying me, that she should have waited for someone with real potential. I stood there in the kitchen reading message after message, feeling like someone was ripping my chest open. The woman I had loved, the woman I had built my dreams around, had been betraying me for half a year. And laughing about me while she did it. I did not confront her that night. I was too shocked, too broken to form words. Instead, I did what I do best. I gathered information. Over the next few weeks, I quietly collected evidence of the affair. I learned that Derek was a sales manager at a software company in town. He drove a nice car and wore expensive suits. He was everything Megan thought I was not. When I finally confronted her, she did not even try to deny it. "Yes, I have been seeing Derek," she said, standing in our living room with her arms crossed. "And honestly, can you blame me? Look at this place. Look at our life. This is not what I signed up for." I asked her if she ever loved me. She shrugged. "I thought I did. But love does not pay the bills, Asa. Love does not buy a house or take you on vacation. You are so obsessed with your little project that you forgot about me. Derek makes me feel wanted. He makes me feel like I deserve nice things." I told her I wanted a divorce. She agreed without hesitation, like she had been waiting for me to say it. The divorce was quick and brutal. She took almost everything we had built together. The house, the car, most of our savings. I was left with my garage workspace and my unfinished software. Our friends mostly sided with her. I heard the whispers. "He brought this on himself. Who quits a good job to play with computers? She deserves better." The day she moved out, she did not even say goodbye. She just loaded her boxes into Derek's car and drove away. I watched from the window, feeling emptier than I had ever felt in my life. For weeks after Megan left, I could barely function. I would sit in the garage, staring at my computer screen, unable to write a single line of code. What was the point? I had sacrificed everything for this dream, and in the end, I had lost the person I thought would be there for me, no matter what. But somewhere in that darkness, something shifted. I realized that I had two choices. I could let this destroy me, or I could use it as fuel. Megan had called me a loser, a dreamer with no future. Derek had laughed at me, mocked me to my face without even knowing I was aware of it. The world had counted me out. Fine. I would show them what a loser could do. I threw myself into my work with an intensity I had never felt before. I woke up at 5 every morning and did not stop until midnight. I refined my software, fixed every bug, added features that would make it indispensable for businesses. I reached out to potential investors, facing rejection after rejection, until finally one believed in me. His name was Grant, a retired tech executive who saw something in my vision that others had missed. With his investment, I was able to hire my first employees and move out of the garage into a small office space. We called the company Nexus Solutions. I kept my name out of the press, preferring to let the product speak for itself. I was not interested in fame. I was interested in building something that mattered. 4 years passed. Nexus Solutions grew from a scrappy startup into one of the most successful tech companies in the region. We had hundreds of employees' offices in 3 cities and clients that included Fortune 500 companies. Our software had become the industry standard for business management. And through it all, I remained in the background, the invisible founder that most people had never heard of. Then came the acquisition. As part of our growth strategy, we began purchasing smaller companies that complemented our offerings. One day, my acquisition team brought me a list of potential targets. One name caught my eye immediately: Vertex Technologies. I knew that company. Derek worked there. I approved the acquisition without hesitation. The deal closed within 2 months.